Golf Central on YouTube, brought to you by Apex Irons from Callaway.
Hi, I'm Amy Rogers, and this is your Golf Central update. Bryson DeChambeau making his debut in the world of long drive today. His longest drive coming in at 412 yards and safely advancing to that second round. We had a chance to speak with DeChambeau afterwards.
Bryson, you're advancing to tomorrow. What are your takeaways from today?
Oh my gosh, my first takeaway is that all of these long drivers are incredible human beings. They're incredible people, incredible athletes, and I feel like this is a sport that has untapped potential. There's so many amazing golfers and human beings that have just great characters and personalities, and it's fun getting to finally meet all of them. We've been talking on Instagram a lot to numerous guys, but to finally meet them in person is something special, and just to be able to compete at this level with this type of adrenaline is so exciting. It's a bit of like, I guess you could relate it to more of like a shot putting exhibition or something like that in the Olympics, where you're just, as hyped up as you possibly can be. So being out there, the first set was a little nerve-wracking for me. I wasn't comfortable, but going through the second, third, fourth, fifth, I just got more comfortable as time went on. My biggest worry was about getting into the grid. As much as I hit it straight, going at those speeds, you can still hit some misses and go offline. But what I can tell you is that these guys are something special, and I love being a part of this.
After seeing your numbers today through those first five sets, what are your expectations now?
I hope as the week moves on and I can keep hitting it in the grid, I can get up to 216, 217. That's my goal. I got to 214 on one today, and that was pretty good. By the third set, I was using another driver head, trying to warm that up for tomorrow as well, once I knew I'd qualify for the next day. So I'm trying to plan this out and make it as process-oriented as possible.
Can you speak to the camaraderie you received today from the other?
Oh, it's great. They've all been super supportive, and it's awesome. And honestly, as much as people are talking about me, I want to showcase these great athletes and individuals out here. They have way faster ball speeds than me, and they're doing things that I could only dream of. And so that's my biggest takeaway from today, and hopefully takeaway for everybody out here is that these are unbelievable athletes, and I want to promote them in the best way possible.
What made you want to do this at all?
Well, personally, I wanted to see how far I could hit it and utilize that on tour. That was my selfish want, is to see how I could utilize it on tour. But then once I saw that I could kind of get up close to some of the ball speeds out here, I was like, wow, I can maybe play in this PLDA championship and see what I can potentially do. And they offered me an invitation. I was like, sure, I'll do it, even if I don't, make it through today. It was still going to be a great experience, and it would have showcased how unbelievable these athletes are, and they are. I mean, you got guys that are 15 miles an hour ball speed faster than me, 20 mile an hour ball speed faster than me. So, the talent out here is immense, and I can't wait to see. I'm going to go watch Kyle and Colton and a bunch of those guys out there hit some bombs.
Bryson, can you talk about the emotion, winning the Ryder Cup, and then the differences in emotion of hitting a 410-yard drive here? Like, just the difference.
Yeah, what's funny is there's not much difference, to be honest. Like, I felt like I just won something today, won a big PGA tournament, even though I just qualified for the next day. Because this is my first time. I've never hit on that grid before. That was my first time going up there and hitting. I had an outing with Rocket Mortgage yesterday, so had a bunch of stuff going on, but was able to get out here, prepare in the best way possible. Last week, I had a speed training session on Monday. I got up to like 212, something like that, and that was brutal. I let my body rest throughout the whole week, and all that adrenaline from the Ryder Cup, I tried to save as much as possible so I could be ready for this week, because it was a brutal, emotional week in a positive way, right? And he wanted to save some for this week, so I'm going to go back and rest and give it my best tomorrow.
You're one of the only guys on tour at a PGA event. You'll pump your fist. After you hit a long drive. We don't see a lot of golfers do that, so it seems like this comes natural to you.
Yeah,
fans involved.
I was never about hitting it really far when I was younger. I only had 112, 113 mile an hour swing speed, which is not bad. But going 25 miles an hour more in 2 years is something pretty special, and hopefully I can keep moving the needle on that end, because it's fun to get the crowd amped up.
Bryson, is it true you only eat the same size pasta?
Yes, every single time.
Right on.
Okay, I don't know how to reply to that. I love it.
What's the first thing that comes to your mind about the whole distance journey over the last year or two?
It's worthwhile. Every bit of it, every failure, every pain and ache, it was all worth it. Learning how to make my body physically perform at the highest levels that I can perform at is something that it's a worthwhile journey. And when you fail, it only makes you better if you can learn from it. And that's what I took away. That's what I've taken away from this journey.
Where do you get the belief to not only hit 400 plus today, but to hit that drive on the par 5, 417? to go a place nobody was even thinking about? Where does the belief come from?
Well, it comes from, my family telling me that I can do it, first off. They believe in me. The team that I have around me, you get Connor, Brett, Hogan Hudson, Adam, Mario back home. You got everybody that's all on my side, and they're pushing for me to do the best I possibly can do. And the most important one, Brian, who's on my bag. And he is literally somebody that has taken this role as much, as he's gotten thrown into the deep end. He's been a huge instrumental part in helping me perform at these new levels.
Now that you've made it this far, you're going on tomorrow, what adjustments do you make? How you attack the grid? The same or anything different?
It's going to be the same. Hopefully the wind plays a little more favorable. This is unfortunately a wind that I'm not that comfortable with. I like hitting those draws out there, and so it was a little more difficult. If I can swing, if it's a little down and off the right tomorrow, it'd be great. Into the wind, I can flight it and use that to my advantage. So we'll see what we can do, but certainly it was fun going over 400 today.
You make any equipment changes before this round from what you've been playing?
Yeah. We had definitely a longer shaft. We've got 240 CPM LA golf shaft that I'm using. That thing is a beast. And the other thing is the head is a prototype. It's something that's going to be coming out here hopefully soon, but we're still working on piecing it together and making it the best it possibly can be.
And you were up to, would you say, 215 ball speed at that?
Yeah, I got to 214 today, which was pretty sweet, right out of the gun. And again, hopefully by the end of the week I can get to 217. That's my goal.
DeChambeau really soaking it in and enjoying the atmosphere out there in Mesquite, Nevada today, where he celebrated with fans, certainly had them on his side, cheering him on. And he had a reaction, too, from his fellow hitters, who were thrilled to have DeChambeau competing alongside them for the first time.
I've been practicing with Bryson for a couple of days before the event, and I mean, he's got it. He's got the speed, plus he's got the ball flight. When it's going to be into wind on one of the days or on all of the days, it's going to be a ball flight competition and not a ball speed competition. So I expect a lot from him.
Where would be a good finish for Bryson?
So I see Bryson definitely in the top 16, possibly top 8. On a good day, top 4. And you never know. When someone hits at OB, you could take the crown.
I had an interview about 6 months ago. I was fortunate enough to get called out by the President of the United States, our former president, asked me if I could hit it farther than Bryson, and I joked around and said I would be able to blow his doors off. I got interviewed later by a big Instagram account, PGA Memes, and he asked me the same question. I go, Bryson would be the best thing for this sport, and because we always joke around and say, like, we drive for dough, but we don't putt. Like we take a lot of pride in 3-putting, so it's a completely different sport. A lot of these guys are really, really good athletes, so it's nice to see someone that has a complete game, that just won a Ryder Cup, that won a US Open, come out and compete against us. And like I said, he's going to do well. He's going to surprise a lot of people that aren't in the know, like guys that have been here. This is my 15th year in the sport. He's going to do really well.
With COVID last year and the long drive kind of going away, it's huge that he's here to help us kind of jumpstart this again and get it going. And I think surprisingly, he's actually going to get faster by competing with us, because you can't replicate the adrenaline that comes from being on a grid.
If he wins, it could be really good, I think. But at the same time, I think it would break a lot of long drivers' hearts because that's our thing, right? So we feel like we're kind of specialists at that, and if he were to come in, I think it would break some of the guys' hearts. But I see him. I mean, I shook his hand last night for the first time. I've talked to him on the phone a couple times, but he's fit. He's training for this. He's training for distance, and it's not as much as some of the long drivers think we're that much better than golfers. I mean, I think he's right there. He's going to be very competitive. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him on the last day in the final group of 16.